what we will discuss is the new media. I mean, what is the distinction between the new media and the old media, and how these new mediums affect the international politics, particularly. So, my first question, Professor Jacobs, how can we describe the new media, and what is the distinction between the new media and the old media? As you know, Marshall McLuhan had an interesting phrase like, medium is the message. So what do you think the message of the new medium, the new media, is?
Well, I think the best way to think about new media, firstly, is what it is. I think there is a lot of hyperbole. In other words, people overstate its effect, not just for how we communicate, but also for its impact on politics. And let me just for a moment backtrack.
Please.
So there is this argument that we've, in terms of sort of popular media as it developed over the last 100 years, we've had the development of professional media. This idea that, particularly in the United States, in the 1920s, you see the emergence of journalism schools. You had, by the 1960s, so the idea that a newspaper is less partisan than it used to be. In other words, it's not picking sides anymore. It's just there to produce the news. By the 1970s, of course, 1960s, you have the emergence of this kind of new journalism, which is to tell stories. This is, in popular terms, this kind of Hunter S. Thompson, Tom Wolfe. You have by the early 1970s in the U.S. again, kind of. It's not really, it's the same press, but they're more activists. They're not picking sides, but they like to uncover secrets, particularly the secrets of government. The second part of it, and I'll shut up about this because I think you have other questions, is what has also happened with the second generation of this kind of new media, and this is the emergence, of course, and I don't have to bore you with this, of social media, Facebook, especially Facebook and Twitter. There's been a bunch of other new media, social media that emerged since the late 90s. Many of them don't exist anymore. The most popular Twitter users are celebrities. It's Ashton Kutcher, Britney Spears, I think, and Lady Gaga. There is a number of influential bloggers, writers that you are going to follow that are not necessarily stuff that you'll be reading in the Times, in the Post, or in the New York Post. And when I say Post, I mean the Washington Post. So it's, I think that's what it has done. I'm not sure if it's having exactly the same kind of effect that CNN used to have, or that Fox, I think, now has with a segment of the political class or I don't think so. I think we underestimate the ability of what we call old media to respond to the new conditions. I mean, I don't know much about the inner workings of the Wall Street Journal, but I do read the Wall Street Journal online, and you have to pay to read the Wall Street Journal. And actually, people are paying to read it. That's one thing. The second thing is, I think the Wall Street Journal has adapted well to, anybody who's read it for a long time, right? It's a boring looking, it never used to have any photographs in it. But in print, it's adapted, it has color photographs, it now has an art section, blah, 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 etc. and so on. Online, it's done the same thing. So I just wanted to say thank you to the Turkish Cultural Center, New York, for inviting me. I really enjoyed being here, and I enjoyed the interaction and the debate around